I'm Steve Thompson from Apex Digital Solutions, and I'm happy to be here with you again in Viva La May, where we've been talking about Viva as a suite, as well as some of the critical components of Viva and the solution platform that Microsoft is offering in this space. It is really a momentum creating platform when it comes to driving your business. A lot of small to medium and then medium to large businesses, have homegrown or frankly struggle a little bit in this space of aligning activity and goals and outcomes and providing readiness and kind of those ancillary or those supportive structures, whatever the business might be, right? We all want to do personal and professional development. We all want to set goals and map them to our mission statement and so forth. And so Viva is really trying to address that. And today we're going to go a little bit deeper into goals. I'm actually going to spend a lot of time on kind of the first two components to prove my bona fides. There's some 3M go up on the wall brainstorming sheets, right? I do a lot of this, whether it's with my organization. I've helped customers with this approach of, creating a mission statement and what's our vision and what articles are going to be written about us 5 years from now and things like that. Those kinds of facilitated strategy sessions, facilitated, envisioning sessions, and I have a lot of experience in that space. And so I'm going to actually spend a lot of time around the culture and the OKR piece. And then we're going to take a look at Viva Goals, relatively high level when it comes to what are some of the tools and what are some of the capabilities when it comes to a platform in this space. Like I said, a lot of companies, a lot of organizations are using a lot of different strategies, a lot of different facilitators in this space. I'll even talk to kind of what Apex does in this space. And then at the end, obviously, why not work with us? We'd love to help you along this Viva journey. So it's come to me over the course of my career that it's not all zeros and ones. It's not binary language and get job done, receive pellet kinds of things, right? People want to know their work matters. Even back to sort of my first real job working for Target stores, at the end of the day, I came to realize that, the installation scripts I was writing or the network cable I was running or the Cisco routers I was troubleshooting were in pursuit of not a goal unto themselves, but the actual, mission of putting, food and products on shelves so people around the country could purchase them, at a price they felt like they were getting a good value, right? That was the mission of Target stores, not me working on an Exchange server. And so having employees connected to those things is super, super critical. It's what, makes a difference. It what creates the retention, the commitment, the alignment with the vision. The flip side is, as a leader myself and in talking to, organizational leaders that we work with, I think there's a bit of a struggle to keep people connected to what are the company's strategic priorities. How does what I do on a daily basis actually support where this organization wants to go? And what Viva Goals is trying to do, what any process in this space is trying to do, is connect the vision statement for an organization to what each and every one of us do on a daily basis. We started our quarter on April 1st. We'll start another quarter on July 1st. And I really try to work with my organization to provide that clarity and provide that connection back to why are we all doing this, right? Because I know that drives great results, that it drives great accomplishment and really satisfaction in their roles. People are, by any measure, they're working, longer and harder. We have so many mobility tools that work isn't a 9-to-5 place thing. And we want to make sure that people know why they're doing this, know what they're in pursuit of. And we've also been handed the hybrid work scenario. If you are working in a front office at a manufacturing plant and seeing the product going out the loading dock door, you had that sort of that tangible connection to it. And so, we want to make sure that regardless of the environment, regardless of the organization, that everyone is feeling, whoa, I apologize. We had a bit of a hiccup here. I appear to still be online. Everything went dark for a second on my monitor, so I'm not sure what happened there. Apologies. I was worried I lost power, but you got to hear, I think, everything through that whole little episode. I'm going to actually open up the comments over here and make sure that I'm not offline. I'm sure someone in the audience will tell me. And so what we're looking for is a way to drive purpose, to have people be connected to the organizational goals, to have people feel like the things they focus on a day-to-day basis on are matching the actual outcomes the organization is looking for. And at the same time, using all those collaboration tools that we've put in place, things like Teams, things like CRM platforms, are used in an efficient way to make sure that all of this work is connected. And I have some perspective on that from some of the places that I've worked. So OKR, or Objectives and Key Results, is a framework that is proven to work in this space. And if some of you are, framework ninjas in other spaces when it comes to strategic planning, goal setting, and so forth, they're all a bit of variations on a theme, right? It's a bit like project management in that, whatever project management or solution selling methodology you subscribe to, they all have some common components. And so as we go through this, I think you'll recognize, whatever your background is, some key, overlap with the experiences you have. And so the goal is really to link the purpose, the strategy, and the execution within an organization. And here are those buckets, or sort of the taxonomy we use to talk about those things. Our mission statement at the top of the pyramid, supported by our values and our culture, right? What are the guiding principles within the organization that really influence everything we do? And then based off of that, let's set our strategic priorities, clearly mapped to the purpose, but now a part of our strategic implementation. And from those strategic priorities, setting objectives. What are going to tell us that we're achieving our strategic priorities? Map that to key results within the execution of the business. And then what are the things we have to go do to drive those key results? And so, like I said, if you have experience with other goal setting types of frameworks and so forth, a lot of this will seem very familiar to you. So why do we do this? It ensures everyone's aligned. If everybody falls underneath this one pyramid, heading up to our core values and our mission, then everybody's on the same page, right? Focus, creating 3 to 5 objectives. Usually the pushback I have for my organization is fewer areas of focus, right? If you have 12 things on your key priority list, you have 0. It's too many. And so 3 to 5 is really the number we tend to think is about the sweet spot for the ability to actually drive priorities. There's transparency, who's doing what, why they're doing it, what part of the strategy it supports. And the flip side of that being the transparency to see when you're out of alignment, when something you're doing on a daily basis doesn't support the rest of the pyramid. I challenge my organization all the time to think critically about what they're doing, or frankly, what they're asked to do, and how do they map that clearly within the OKR framework. Be adaptable, quarterly reviews, real-time data, those kinds of things to pivot the organization at the right level on the right time frame, right? We don't redo our mission statement every 3 weeks, right? But we can make adjustments down at the execution layer that help us adjust the organization and continue to support the mission. And this also scales, right? I say to my team all the time, scale and velocity, scale and velocity. What you have to do is build a framework that's going to grow with you, that isn't reliant on heroes within the organization, right? I love heroes. I love my team, and I love the way that they personally execute. At the same time, I really want to create roles. I want to create alignment within the organization so that it'll scale in the future. And so objectives, key results, and initiatives are kind of those buckets that we think of down at that execution layer, right? Qualitative, aspirational goals for a company or a team, in my case, for an organization, in my case. What are the results that are going to show that we're achieving that objective? And then what are we going to do? What are those things that we're going to do that's going to drive this, right? I can't just expect more sales, or I can't expect more leads coming from marketing. I have to know, how am I going to drive that with initiatives? And so here's a great way to think about writing an OKR. And I actually do suggest, and it's usually a capability within a lot of the tools, even if you're not using Viva, that you actually write these in these format, right? That you think about them, at least in the brainstorming station. Hey, we're gonna do this as a team. We're gonna know that we did it by measuring X, and we're gonna, make sure X happens by doing these things on a daily basis. So then here's an example, right? We will deliver a must-have product in order to delight customers and grow our user base, as measured by increasing our NPS score from 80 to 90 via conducting market research initiative to identify top customer delighters, right? Hey, what are those things that actually make them really, really happy? So this is a formula, right? This is just, one example of what this might look like. An objective. Here's another way of sort of thinking about it. Improve our marketing funnel to become vendor of choice in the industry. I hope Michael's listening, right? Maybe I'm going to see this OKR on my desk July 2nd, right? Execute 6 targeted lead campaigns by the end of Q3. Acquire 950 new marketing qualified leads for sales by the end of Q3. Driving 10 million in marketing generated pipeline by the end of Q3. Notice how I'm changing Q1s to Q3s, so they're easy for Michael to write for July. And we think updating our marketing materials is really going to help with this. They're dated, hypothetically. They're dated. They don't reflect some of our recent case studies. They don't reflect some enhancements in Microsoft's solution and platform. And so we're going to go in and update those materials. And that's going to be one of the things that we think are going to help drive the key results that are going to support that objective. So why Viva Goals, right? So that's sort of the business framework, or sort of the objective framework that we're talking about. But then let's talk a little bit about how Viva Goals fits in this situation. So again, we're going to use our little setup here, where my mic is going to pick up the audio. I think I've got it all set up. And just watch a quick video just highlighting some of the key features of Viva Goals, and then I'm going to dive into it.
Viva Goals is the latest addition to Microsoft Viva, our employee experience platform. Viva Goals is a goal-setting and management solution designed to align teams to organization strategic priorities to drive results and a thriving business. In the Viva Goals dashboard in Microsoft Teams, employees get clarity into objectives and key results for their team and their entire organization. Viva Goals provides visibility to specific team-level objectives, and by expanding a goal, you can see the key results and work needed to achieve them. All these objectives and key results are related in order to create alignment at every level of the organization. From the Projects tab, you can view a simplified dashboard of projects relevant to you for your day-to-day work, helping focus discussions and effort on the right things. It's easy to see how projects align to objectives, both for your team and organization-wide. Viva Goals is directly integrated in Teams, so you can check in on objectives and update the progress of a goal in your flow without needing to leave Teams. You can also receive an automatic reminder from the Viva Goals chatbot, which takes you to a dashboard of OKRs that needs updates. And with the Microsoft Teams message extension, you can share from Viva Goals right within a Teams chat. Simply bring up the message extension, select the appropriate goal, and engage your coworkers in a discussion on what outcome you're supposed to achieve and how to best get there. This is Viva Goals, where purpose-driven teams align to achieve results.
And so that was just a kind of a quick video overview of some of the capability. Right now here at Apex, we use some other software that we've been using for a while, kind of in this space. And frankly, one of the challenges is how, excuse me, how it is a little bit to the side of Teams, to the side of, CRM and how we work on a daily basis. We have this other place we go to manage our goals and our tasks and milestones and those kinds of things. I have a spidey sense that as we go into fiscal year 24 planning for our organization, that we're going to look to move that into Viva Goals. It aligns with the way we work. It would be a great fit for our organization, as well as helping grow our capability and helping you, right? You sort of, you teach what you know. And so the more we use it, the better we're going to be, delivering those solutions into the market. And so I think from the video, you got a sense of what Viva Goals is and how it brings together that OKR and pyramid framework into reality. Connecting strategy all the way down to execution, right? Connecting people at the individual level to goals and making sure that everybody's aligned. Giving you one place to manage all this, right? So how does a project plan roll up into an objective, roll into our strategy? And then that last bullet is really what I was talking about, which is, I think part of the benefit of an integrated platform like Viva Goals is that it's just part of the way you work. I was a little jealous thinking about how we work currently, to see the Teams integration, to see the flagging and the being able to have Viva Goals interact back and forth, with that collaborative environment. Totally transparently right now, I sort of have to put time on my organization's calendar, to make sure they have updated the tools we use so that they're accurate when we go into our team meeting looking for issues. And so having that a part of the daily collaboration and the daily workflow of the team is absolutely huge. I talked about scale. This is where it really comes into play for many organizations, is individual teams, or maybe when you were in that period of time as a small business, you can use word of mouth, you can use face to face. I'm a recovering engineer and math guy, and all you have to do is think about factorial, right? 25 factorial, and thinking about how many personal connections there are in a 25 or a 50 person organization. It's completely unwieldy at a certain size to expect the organization to use personal connections to accomplish this. We have to have a system for roll up, and it's not meant to be a hierarchy, right? It's not meant to be a military up the command, down the command chain, didactic execution, but you have to put something in place to aggregate information, flow it to the top of the organization, and take things from the top and flow it back down. That's the only way you're going to scale. I'm really, really excited about our organization and our growth. We're on a tremendous trajectory right now. So one of the things I'm thinking about every day is, how do I take what we're doing and scale it? How do I go from 5 sellers to 10 sellers to 20 sellers? Well, I can't have them all coaching each other, right? I can't have them all using word of mouth to learn best practices or be aligned on a campaign. We need something that scales, and Viva Goals could really help in that space as well. We talked about that sense of purpose, right? Is what I'm doing on a daily basis moving the business forward, right? And I alluded to my time at Target, and it did. I knew that the things I were doing that seemed vastly disconnected made sure that the merchandisers could do their work and weren't kept offline. And if they could do their work, they could order product. And if they could order product, it could be received by the distribution center. If it could be received by the distribution center, it could end up to, and I still have, Target store numbers tattooed on my brain. It could end up at T52 on Lake Street here in Minneapolis, and someone who needs that product could buy it the next morning, right? I knew that was the case. This makes that job easier, right? It also helps you, and this is kind of off the slide, but I'll give you this. It helps you identify those things that don't do that, right? I think I've found a couple in our organization. And I'm very gently, coaching the organization, coaching other parts of the organization to say, hey, how does this align, right? And if it doesn't, let's strongly consider why we're doing it, right? And this is a super, super powerful tool to help everybody understand what's my role, what's my responsibility, where do I make handoffs, and how does that all play in the scope of our organization and the vision we have, the mission statement we have at the top of the pyramid. Easy review up and down the organization. The MBR process, monthly business reviews, the QBR process. I came from Microsoft, and before tools like this, it was cascading PowerPoints. As an individual contributor, my team would put together a 3-slide presentation for me. I would take my teams and put it into a 4-slide presentation for my VP. My VP would take his 3 directors and put it in a presentation to the SVP, right? PowerPoint was accomplishing this. This sounds a lot easier, right? This sounds like a great way of distilling that information to the next level. Again, that hierarchy is meant to support the organization. My sales director gets the information she needs and rolls it up to me. I roll it up to the CEO and say, hey, my whole business all up, here are the things you need to know. Here's how we're doing. Here's where we need help. And it's real time. I hate snapshots. I hate anything that takes a snapshot of a business, of a spreadsheet, of results, because the second you do it, it's out of date, right? We're working towards improving our ability to just use CRM as a source when it comes to, say, making projections for the future. Don't take a snapshot of my sales team's business. Just use the tools we have and get instantaneous weighted pipeline, get instantaneous project durations. All of those things real time lead to better decision making, right? Versus taking a snapshot. The joke at Microsoft was always, by the time all those PowerPoints rolled up to, at the time, Kevin Turner or Steve Ballmer, they were out of date. It was old. It took 2 weeks to roll up the food chain. And by the time it rolled up the food chain, maybe that problem I talked about to my boss that was hot, maybe it's over or has been rendered moot. And having it real time really helps address that. I love this slide because it talks about sort of Microsoft's newfound religion when it comes to cross-platform. My favorite story in talking to teams in the early days for customers is that, sure, it supports Planner, but it also supports Asana and Monday and Trello. And so you can integrate other tools to roll up the project management, roll up project status, roll up Jira and Azure DevOps information into that execution layer, into that results layer, right? Take some of those pieces of data, right out of Smartsheet and make them part of the OKR framework and infrastructure. Again, this is the power of not having this tool off to the side, but truly, truly integrated into the way people work, right? It makes that reporting, it makes that insight and visibility just sort of happen versus that half-hour meeting I have to put on everybody's calendar in the org to say, hey, make sure your stuff is updated before we walk into the meeting. It's sort of like time entry in a professional services world, right? It would be magical if it happened as you did it, or we had the discipline to do it as it did it. Because I know still in many cases, Friday afternoon, folks, kind of scratch their heads and say, what was I working on Monday? I got to fill out my time card, right? So think of this as real-time time cards. We've got the ability to, ensure that privacy and security and visibility are enforced across the organization, right? You control the level of transparency. You control, the level of change capability and audit capability across the organization, right? And so built with the enterprise in mind, and not just the enterprise. I mean, one of the things that we love here at Apex is bringing those pieces of functionality that have always been maybe possible at the enterprise level because they came with big price tags, and bringing them to small and medium businesses, right? You have the capability, to use conditional access, to use, the auditing and the controls that once upon a time only existed at Cargill or at Target, and bring it down to every organization in the world. And so that's a little bit about Viva Goals. We'd love to help you. The Why Apex thing is we've been around a long time, partnered with Microsoft and been a key managed partner for them for many, many years. And we have the people, we have the experience, we have the insight to really help you in this space. This space especially crosses over into that business knowledge, right? That getting to know your business and having the perspective across all the customers we've worked with to bring that to the table. Hey, watch out for these business level pitfalls. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? And it's those best practices and those insight that I really think set us apart at the end of the day. So that's a little bit about Viva Goals. Thanks for joining us for the Viva La May series that we did with Fridays with Steve this month. If you're watching us live, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching the recording after the fact. As always, reach out to me. There's actually a ton of appendix slides here with some walkthroughs that I didn't have time to address, but if you reach out to me and want the presentation, those will be included as well. If you're a current customer, reach out to your account executive. If you're not a customer, reach out to me, reach out to sales@apexdigital.com. We'd love to have a conversation with you about Viva Goals, the Viva Suite, or any of the challenges you face in your world of business and technology. And with that, thank you. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching us live or on a quick recording, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy yourself. Try not to set the house on fire with all your barbecuing, and enjoy your time. Thank you.